wonder why people did videos in their bathrooms, and you always see the shower curtain behind them. Yeah, nice shower curtains, but I see it now. It's good lighting in here. Really good lighting in the bathroom. That might not, maybe it's better acoustics too, I don't know. But now I see, because I tried to do this video in my bedroom and the lighting is horrible. So anyway, peace and blessings, y'all. It's your girl Elishaba, aka Lisa Moore. I just wanted to talk about a video I saw earlier today. It was a video of a young black male who is probably about 30-ish, somewhere, you know, upper 20s, lower 30s, somewhere in age. And he was venting, I will say this, I'll put it nice, he was venting about child support and women taking advantage of the system. And specifically he said, oh well, you know, it's no wonder your hair is done and your nails are done because your rent's only $7, you're on housing and you get food stamps and all these different things. And he was saying, you know, you complain about me coming over drinking all the juicy juice. Well, hell, if I hadn't put that baby in you, then there would be no juicy juice. And going on and on about that. And referring to them as bitches. Putting it right out there. Referring to them as bitches. So, you know, in this day and age, the term bitch is a term of, it's a derogatory term, of course. So, he's being derogatory. Now, this is my message. This is my thing. Now I speak about black people. I want the entire race to get it together. The entire species, the entire group of humans walking this earth in all hues to get it together. I truly do. But I speak directly to my ones of African descent, ones of the original people, melanated people, is who I'm speaking to now. Because I am one of those. I am one of those melanated individuals. So I speak to women and melanated individuals. Now I got to speak to the men. Because I usually, if I say something, it's encouraging my sisters to do something. But now I got to speak to the men. Males who are on child support, who have a mother, the mother of your child is not allowing you to see them. She's receiving all these government benefits and you feel like you're being slighted. I'm going to say this first because this is the nice part. You know, they always say, give me the good news, give me the bad news or whatever. I'm going to give you the good news first. The good news is I feel your pain. I completely and totally understand where you're coming from. And I'm going to try to keep this nice, this whole thing nice and pleasant where it doesn't sound like I'm coming down on you. But really, I feel your pain. I do not agree with the child support system as it is right now because there is no, well, I'll take that back. I'm not going to say there's no way for the male to ever get out of it. And when I say get out of it, like once you have, I'm from Tennessee. And other states obviously I know have different policies. But I know in Tennessee that for a time, and they might have changed this, who knows. But in Tennessee, they had it where, you know, if a woman went on support, food stamps, and Medicaid would be the one that younger people would be on. The father was liable for whatever she got. Now, the court order is something additional, but the state's going to get back whatever the mother received from the state. They can get that back from you up front. And then the court ordered stuff comes later. That's the way it worked with me. With me personally, I never went down there to file child support papers. This is how it happened. I had my first child. I was 17 when I met the person I was with. Had no knowledge of myself, no knowledge of, or no consciousness of myself at that time. Let's put it like that. And ended up with a person whose vision of life did not mesh with mine because I didn't even know what my vision of life was. To me, just an aside, you know, all people are different. All people are different stages of evolution, stages of consciousness, stages of knowing, stages of realization, self-realization. So this is not to say someone's lower than anyone else or better than anyone else, but you have to be with someone who wants to do the crap you want to do, who wants to live the kind of life you want to live, who shares your vision. As Lyndon Honor puts it, married in Lyndon and Aida Honor, shout out to them, put it, married in consciousness. I don't care if you're in a poverty consciousness. If you want to be in a poverty consciousness, then y'all need to agree on that, and you need to stick with it, and you need to be broke together because you agree. Now, unfortunately, people come up out of the poverty consciousness and they say, well, I'm going to be broke anymore and I'm going to do better. And then one of them might say they want to stay where they are. That's why I wouldn't start at the bottom with anyone. But anyway, you need to be with someone who shares your consciousness, your vision, and your outlook on life. Now, if you are a person who is not of a higher consciousness, who is not thinking about higher things, about the future and certain things like that, then you're probably going to attract and end up with someone who thinks the same way. And the law is you reap what you sow. You attract who you are. If you plant your seed, and I don't agree that a man has the seed, but that's me. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm really not. But if you perform the act that causes a child to be created, let's put it like that, you must deal with the consequences. Whether at a later day you decide, oh, this person is not for me. I can't stand them. They full of shit. They're getting on my nerves. It doesn't matter. You still created a child, okay? So you have to deal with that. Now let's say you rise in consciousness and this person does not. If you have actually risen in consciousness, you figure out a way to deal with that person diplomatically. Now I understand that the system puts you in such a position where it's very hard to do that. But you still have to deal with it. Now, I realize that most people in the black community are not raised with certain information. Meaning, you're raised in a certain environment where chasing women and sleeping with whomever, whenever, is in style and it's in vogue because that's what everybody else is doing. I understand that. You have to get to a point where you understand that everything you do, something's going to happen. And if you learn that later, you still have to deal with the consequences of what happened before. So, all this getting on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else and cussing women out, not helping. It's not changing anything. You know, you have to get to a point where you learn how to play the system and then beat it. And when I say that, you have to do absolutely nothing illegal to correct things. You have to learn how to talk to people and how to charm people, not in a manipulative way, but in a way where you can bring peace to a situation. Now, some people you can't charm, you can't talk to, you can't reason with. Now, it could be because you're not a charming person and you're not a reasonable person. That's why you keep getting people who don't respond to your charm or your reasonability, if that's a word. I mean, what I'm saying is you have to take a long, hard look at yourself in the mirror and say, did I do something to bring forth this current situation? And what, if anything, can I do about it? There's a lot of things that I realize and I know and that I can prove and I can show that would make a person feel a lot better about saying, okay, so you created a child. See, this is the thing. What irritated me about this video. He never once mentioned she doesn't let me see my kids and that's what's upsetting me. Or I don't get a chance to have a hand in raising them or something like that. All he vented about was the fact that he got paid regular rent, which he probably didn't, because you know what, I really hate to be general, and you know I'm not even gonna say this because then I don't know what he does, by looks, he looked like he was doing some illegal activities, and that's how he was getting by. But I don't know that for a fact, so I'm going to reserve that judgment, even though I just said it. But, you know, if you're not doing any better than the person you're complaining about, please stop complaining. Please stop venting and putting it all on another person. You placed your penis inside of her, and you created a child. Now you got to deal with it. Now you can rise above that. If the person's reasonable. Like I said, there's some people who are completely unreasonable. You can't talk to them. You can't reason with them. Sometimes you have to let stuff go. Half the time child support people are wanting $200 a month. I've seen people get $3 a week at the end of it. Come on now. That I hope nobody's complaining about $3 a week. I've seen that. Literally, I've seen the checks at $3. I'm like, why do we even bother taking this? But anyway, $200 a month, honey. If you feel as if, you know, sometimes life gives you these obstacles, okay, that you can either smash and use to build something, or run over, or walk through, or do whatever you got to do, and you can see it as an opportunity to be better. Or you can just bitch and moan about it, which is what I see most people doing. Yes, there's a jacked up system in place, but what are you going to do? Are you going to learn how to manipulate and maneuver through that system and surmount it and ride it out? Or are you going to complain and bitch and moan? That's my question. $200 a month is nothing. I'm not getting into how much it costs to raise a child and all these good things. That has nothing to do with it. $200 a month is nothing. $500 a month is nothing. And if you are a person who's not making that much money, I already know they can, at least in Tennessee, they can only take half your check. So if you're only making $200 a month, they take $200 a week, they're taking $100. Which I understand. If you're only making $200 and they take $100, that is a lot. So if that be the case, they can only go up to a certain amount. This is my thing. Figure out how to make more money. Stop saying that you can't afford this child support, you can't afford this, you can't afford that. Instead of all that energy this guy put into doing that video, he could took his butt to the free library, checked out some books that would have taught him how to make some more money. He obviously knows how to operate a camera. That's why he made a video, right? So many opportunities to make money. My people, please stop bitching and moaning. I am not telling you to act as if you haven't been disadvantaged to an extent. I'm not telling you to ignore the wrongs that have been and the atrocities that have been committed against our ancestors and our people. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, once you have recognized and identified your enemy, and once you have recognized and identified your disadvantages, you need to start performing some alchemy and changing that stuff. So, with all that said, think bigger. Stop complaining and stop looking at it as if, oh, this is an obstacle, it's in my way, I can't do anything about it, so I'm going to get on here and make a video and place the blame on the female. You laid with her, she laid with you. Now what you going to do? You got a baby now. You knew before, if you grew up in a certain, you already know about child support, right? You already know what they do. So if you chose to ignore that and just indiscriminately get someone pregnant, there's metaphysical ways of not getting someone pregnant. There are physical ways of not getting someone pregnant. So, with that said, you know these options, okay? So if you got them pregnant anyway, deal with it. The gods and the goddesses have already said you can handle this. All you got to do is know you can handle it. Okay? It's not a matter of an accident. I don't believe in accidents. The laws that govern us say there's always a cause for every effect, and you reap what you sow. Okay? Cause and effect. So there are no accidents. Everything happens for a purpose. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens in perfect timing. So there is no such thing as, oops, I got pregnant. Ain't no such thing. Okay? Let me just give you a little example from my life. I have woo student loans. Woo. That's a big old number. Okay? And for the longest, it would just piss me off that I have these student loans just looming over me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this number that I have to pay every month is ridiculous. It is like this debt that will never go away. You can't bankruptcy yourself out of it, can't discharge, can't do nothing. It's just there. Until my spirit let me know that's just an obstacle. Okay? I'm trying to show you something bigger. Despite whatever spiritual practice you might participate in or believe in, most spiritual religions and practices will let you know that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, and they'll say in certain words that there's no obstacle, nothing is too hard for God, and all these different things. Well, I don't understand how people say they believe these things, yet you are continually letting these things irritate you. But like I said, I don't know if this person believes anything, and to an extent I understand why they wouldn't if they did, because most of the religions that we have now are not empowering, and they don't tell you what I'm about to tell you. So anyway, what I figured out is, as long as I kept running and complaining and bitching and moaning about the student loan, the longer it was going to sit there and just stare me in my face and taunt me and say, hey, I'm still here and I ain't going nowhere. Now what you gonna do? And I have figured out what I'm going to do. Not worried about it no more. There are ways to handle everything. There are abundant resources around you that you can utilize to free yourself of anything you think is burdening you. In reality, there is no burden. It's all in your perception. It's all in your handling of it. So eventually I'll get my notes together and things together, and I'm going to try to assist people who want to be assisted in removing all these obstacles and burdens from their lives. But until then, I just want you to know, seriously, to any of my brothers, for real, who got this woman who you think is so difficult, yada yada yada, you're going to have to go to your mother. And I'm not talking about your physical mother necessarily, unless she got good advice that she might, if she does go to her. But you have to go to the Creator, put it like that, and ask for some wisdom in dealing with these obstacles. Okay? And the tearing each other down, and the cussing each other out, and the calling them bitches, and calling them blah, blah, blah. Well, you laid with the bitch. That's what I don't understand. Pull your word. That's what you said. You laid with the bitch. So I don't understand why you were upset now. You did it. You know, there's been plenty of things that I've done. Like, why I do that? I gotta own it. And now I have the opportunity to surmount and overcome that thing instead of running my mouth and cussing everybody out and saying, well, it's your fault. It's nobody's fault. We have been through too much as a people to continue to tear one another down. You won't hear me calling men dogs. You won't hear me calling men hoes. I don't believe men are that bad. I don't believe that they are that way, and I don't believe that is their nature, that they are evil, doggish, hoish, playerish people or beings. I believe that we have had obstacles and things placed upon us that have buried our true selves, and the whole plethora and the whole spectrum of who we are has been buried underneath all these subliminal and these false stereotypes and false definitions of who we are as people. That's what's happened. And the only thing that is going to change that is true knowledge of who you are. That's why I wrote on my Facebook status the other day, man, no, prepare thyself. If you think all women are hoes, guess what? You're probably a hoe. And whatever your definition of hoe is, I don't even think, there's very few words I think are negative in actual, real, ancient definition. But in our modern days, we say a hoe is a negative thing. So I'll roll with that for just a moment. If you think that all people are women are worthless, you're probably worthless. And that's just keeping it real. Because you only attract what you are. All these little sayings that, I had to sit down and think about it. They always say birds of a feather flock together. And then they turn around and say like recognize like. Then they turn around and say opposites attract. You have to really sit and analyze. They're called parables, okay? Or proverbs or dark sayings, wisdom. You have to really try to figure out what these things are saying. If you do, it will change your life. It will absolutely change your perception and change you for the better, so you can stop complaining about everything. The hoes will leave you alone. You are attracted and drawn to the hoe because that's who you are. Or actually, let's put it like this. That's who you are acting as at this moment. You can do something different and you can attract something better. But you got to start by having knowledge. So, instead of complaining, and instead of bitching and moaning, instead of blaming and pointing fingers like a little kid when it's your fault, you did it, man, you never. No. Get up, get some information, get a book, get a video, whatever you got to do, and figure out how to make more income. I try to be really lenient with people when they say, oh, well, black man is disadvantaged. I don't believe that. I'm trying to say this the right way. Black men and women and people of this planet, almost all of us are disadvantaged. But there are some who say, I'm tired of this shit and I'm not going to take it anymore. The story of Will Smith, what did he play in? The Pursuit of Happiness. That was a true story. When I hear these males, young males say, oh, I can't do that. That man had a child. Okay, a child. And he became a rich stockbroker. And I think it took him, 6 months? And he had no promise of a job. But he used that opportunity. He, first of all, never gave up. Used that opportunity to do something else. I had all kind of obstacles come before him. True story. If you get that book, get that movie, with, like I said, movie based on a true story, and inspire yourself to do something better. Even my street pharmacist, you can do better. I don't understand how you got so much money for rims and cars and shoes and bling bling, and you have no money. And that goes for my stripper sisters too. See, this is the thing. I've been reading this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. And one of the lessons is basically, if you're a fool and you don't know the rules of gold, you'll lose it. How do you make $500 a night cash money and you ain't got nothing saved up? Not understanding that. That's because we have not been taught. Actually, I do understand. We have not been taught how to handle the resources that we have. Okay? We live in a society where cash is king at this time. And when the cash wasn't king, it was gold and silver and copper and bronze and salt. They used salt for currency at one time. And in other places, it was shells. Okay? So these people who walk around here telling you money is the root of all evil, that's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. The root of evil is you and your use of the money. People, do you understand what a root is? Nothing in that scripture says that money is evil. It says the love is evil. I'm telling you right now, I can have not a penny, I'm still going to be okay. Not a penny, and I will still be okay. Because I know how to use the resources around me. Okay? And that is a valuable skill. That is a valuable thing for someone to know. How to use the resources around them. And resources are not always money. Like I said, I am working on it, my brothers. I really am. I'm working on it. Education, training, teaching, to show you how to use your resources. That does not have to be money. If all like my dope boys, like I said, my street farmers, seriously, all this cash money is coming through your hands, get it together. So I'm not putting down anybody what you do. What I'm putting down is what you have done with what you have done. Have you used that money to grow anything else, or are you falling for the foolishness of the world that tells you that having this car, you can have the car, but not before you've secured property or some resources that will make you more money without you even having to do anything for it. You gotta learn from the people who you think are your enemy, because in reality your enemy is flourishing and advancing and running the world right now. So am I saying to be like your enemy? No. What I'm saying is to take the parts from their playbook that work, use those, and seize the power back. And that's for any of my conscious brothers who might be still feeling frustrated. You can't completely throw away the reptilian mind, okay? You can't do that. The reptilian mind is a part of you. It is in here. In this scope, that is a part of your evolution. That is a part of you. So you have to use it to the extent that it is useful. There are other parts of your brain and parts of your consciousness. There's the part that's in the physical body, and there's the consciousness that spreads out to everything else. You have to put all those together. When you do that, then you are unconquerable. They will fall. I don't call it Babylon because I don't like that, but the wicked will fall. Okay? But you can't toss out the knowledge they have, because my thing is, they're running shit. They're running things, right? So how did they get there? I'm not telling you to be ruthless and one-circuited and two-circuited. That's another video. I think I did do a video on that. The 7 circuits of consciousness. They know how, like I said, reptilian mindset. You know, eat or be eaten, kill or be killed. This hoarding mentality. This, I gotta take care of mine and fuck everybody else. That's the mentality. And then every once in a while they go out and they kind of collaborate with other people. Then as soon as they got no use for you, they toss you away. So we don't want to live like that. Melanated people have more consciousness than that. But what we have somehow gotten to is we have discarded other parts of our consciousness that are very basic to our survival. Literally our brain stem, which is the part of the reptilian brain, part of all that, those structures, is what is necessary for basic survival, breathing. Okay? If you don't have that, you will die. Okay? So we've got to learn how to maneuver through this system and work together. We are a community-based people. We are a tribal people. Okay? That's where we came from. And we have to get back to that. Now we're allowing people to manipulate our minds so that we don't know how to work together anymore. And the only thing you can do is point fingers at your sisters. Let me tell you something about your sisters. Your sisters are hurting. That is why they act the way they act. Slavery, having us turned against one another, pitting us against one another, that's the only way they can win. Divide and conquer. A house divided against itself will fall. They're smart enough to know that. Why are you not smart enough to pick up on that's what is happening? I understand sisters be going off. I understand some sisters be acting just straight crazy. I understand. I get that. But getting on YouTube and getting on Facebook and making videos, calling them all kind of names, is not going to fix it. Because you don't even know what the problem is. That's not the root of the problem. It's aggravating you now that these things are happening to you, but that's not the root of the problem. And until you pull up the weed by its root and destroy it totally and completely, nothing will ever change. So, with that said, you've got to see the bigger picture. Kill the root of the problem. That's all I got to say about that for now. Peace and blessings, y'all. 1.